I'd like to call this meeting to order, April 23rd of the Romulus Board of Education. First we need roll call, please.
Ms. Freyer.
Present.
Ms. Buckley.
Here.
Mr. Kruderick.
Present.
Ms. Lanasi.
Present.
Ms. Minkiewicz is absent, excused, and Ms. Roscoe.
Here.
Ms. White, present.
We all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next we need approval of the agenda. I need a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion by Ms. White, supported by Mr. Kruderick. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve our minutes of March 26.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. Lanasi. Do we have any questions on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we'll turn it over to Mr. Weiss for the report from our superintendent.
Thank you. First on our list, we have several personnel actions this evening. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Members of the board, our first personnel action is a motion is needed to accept the retirement of Mr. John DeForest, head custodian at Mount Pleasant, Ms. Joyce Evans, secretary 2 at Adult Community Education, and Donald Matheny, carpenter within our maintenance department.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the retirements as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. White, supported by Ms. Freyer. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Our next personnel action, motion is needed by the board to accept the resignation of Ms. Kelly Knight. Ms. Knight is principal at Hell Creek Elementary School.
I'd like to make the motion to accept the resignation of the personnel as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Mr. Kruderick. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Our next personnel action also is a motion needed by the board to accept the resignation of Ms. Lisa Handyside, mathematics teacher at Romulus Middle School, and Ms. Mary Sneath, elementary teacher at Merriman Elementary School.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we accept the resignation as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. White. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Our next personnel action is a for-your information resignation of Ms. Lisa Householder, child caregiver at My Friends and Me. Effective date is April 18th. And our final personnel action also is a for-your information. Termination of Ms. Kimball Redmond, child caregiver at My Friends and Me, effective April 19th, 2007. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Next, Ms. Proposal bills for payment.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. I'm recommending the board approve the bills submitted for payment for the period March 28th through April 19th, 2007, in the amount of $1,013,715.60. And reminder that we did not have a previous April meeting. That's why the amount is around $1 million. It's a little higher than we normally approve or recommend each time.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve bills as submitted.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Ms. White. Do we have any questions on the bills? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to pay the bills.
Okay, next on the list, we have a group here from Wick Elementary, and this was a very special day today for Wick Elementary. A number of us were over. I see some familiar faces.
Sure do.
And a number of us were able to attend the official presentation of the Blue Ribbon Award to Wick. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Johnson. and the students and staff at WIC.
Thank you. I guess this is the day for WIC, huh?
Sure is.
As you all are aware, as Mr. Weiss has mentioned, today we celebrated our Blue Ribbon ceremony, and once again, I would like to thank you all for coming out and supporting us. What everyone observed today was basically the end result of a very intense process. We had to meet several criteria for each one of the indicators listed in the application process for us to even be considered for the Blue Ribbon Award. So one of the things that you're going to witness our group of fifth graders do today comes from the area of curriculum, and that's the area that we take much pride in at WIC. So without further delay, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Gib Randall, our fifth grade teacher, and also a couple of our students have WIC Blue Ribbon pens that they forgot to hand out today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, we
Should I-
need
you
we
prefer?
need you to,
Thank you,
so
sir.
it can
You can hear
record
it?
for at
Okay.
home.
For the
Do you care if my students don't use it?
You won't be able to hear them well on the tape for home.
Okay, well, we'll do our best to. We haven't practiced with a microphone or a microscope either very often. Because
Thank you,
I
sir.
want my
Appreciate
students to be able
Thank
to
you.
fill the auditorium and with their sounds. And the word that we have for that is right. So thank you for having us here today. This will be the 5th year that WIC Elementary I've done a Shakespeare play with my 5th grade students. And today I asked them, why do you think we're doing this? How will this help you in life to be memorizing Shakespeare and performing Shakespeare? These are some of the things that they said. Because Shakespeare has tricky sayings, and being able to memorize them is incredible, said Ashley Brown. When you're acting out Shakespeare, you have to put your feelings into it for it to mean something. When I do regular plays, it's going to be a breeze. Taylor Morgan said, Shakespeare is very big and difficult words. So if you can do Shakespeare, you can say big words, and you won't be scared of using them. Ashley Lamoureux said, no one knows this, but, well, now everybody knows this. Sorry, Ashley. But I have over 20 books that William Shakespeare wrote. He's such a great writer. I think performing will help me pronounce words like bedabbled. And Rachel Leonard said, memorizing and performing Shakespeare helps me in life because I have to give a large speech if I have to give a large speech in front of a lot of people, I won't be as scared or nervous as my teacher is right now. And it would help me in using huge words. So in the future, I would figure out more huge words like lamentable. There are many benefits in doing Shakespeare with younger students. If students are going to take the time to perform a play, they might as well engage excellent language. They may not know all of Shakespeare's words the first time they read them, but as students memorize the lines and learn to act them out over a longer period of time, understanding grows. A Midsummer Night's Dream may be more approachable than most Shakespeare because it has so much physical comedy and verbal wit. 5th grade students certainly love the donkeys and the fairies. They love how the boys and the girls get mixed up. They're fighting and flirting even in the same scenes. Funny scenes seem to trick the students into forgetting how hard the language is. And peer pressure shames the reluctant ones, especially, I hate to admit it for my gender, but boys, to grapple over how to say their lines and play their part well. They practice in front of each other every day, and actors in each scene depend on each other to come through at the right moment. Performing a play is differentiated learning. Every student has a line, but every part is different in length and in depth. Further, as we all know, an actor with a small part can steal the show. Each student has the opportunity to shine according to his or her talents and dedication. Each group and each scene has the opportunity to lift itself to excellence as the actors play off each other to create a unified story out of disparate lines and parts. I have brought my students in because you need to see the product, and hopefully this will tease you into coming on May 3rd to see our full performance. And I would like your help because they're a little nervous, and we have this strategy we use to gain attention so everybody's focused. And it goes like this. We say, lights, help me out, students. Lights, camera, and we don't say the word action, we just clap our hands. So I'm going to ask you to help me with that because I think it's going to help my students feel a little bit more comfortable in performing a little bit before you. So we'll practice one time all together. Lights, camera. Oh, you're so good. Nobody said that word. Good. Okay. I would like to first introduce Ashley Brown playing Hermia in scenes 1 through 4. Lights, camera.
Help me, Lysander, help me. What a dream is here. Lysander, look how I do quake with fear. Lysander, what I was hearing, gone, no sound, no word. Alack, where are you? Either deaf or you are find immediately.
Tyron McMullen playing Starveling in the first part of the play. Lights, camera. Devin Newbill playing Starveling in the second part of the play. Lights, camera.
This man dog represents the moon, myself man. The man in the moon don't seem to be.
Samantha Moore playing Helena in scenes 1 through 4. Lights, camera.
Oh, how happy they are. Throughout Athens, I am thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. I will tell him a fair Hermia's flight. Then to the wood will he tomorrow night pursue her. This intelligence at least he'll think.
Christian Griggs playing Hippolyta. Lights, camera.
How chance when the moonshine is gone before this she comes back and finds her lover.
Andrea Body playing Puck. Lights, camera.
If we shadows have offended, think that you but slumbered here while these visions did appear.
And for the last 3 presentations, we have groups of students that are in scenes together. The first is from scene 5 through 8, and Brenna Wade will play Hermia, and Ashley Lamro will play Helena. Lights, camera.
Oh, you thief of love, you have come by night, stolen my love's heart from him. Why, you counterfeit, you puppet, you. Puppet? I pray you, gentlemen, let her not hurt me, let her not strike me. When she's angry, she's keen and true. She's the vixen when she went to school, and though she be but little, she is fierce. Why we let her insult me so? Let me at her. I will not trust you. I no longer stand your cursed company. Your hands and mine are crooked for a friend. When my legs are long enough to run away. I'm amazed and know not what to say.
The second presentation is a group of magical fairies, and Rachel Funderburg plays Titania, Angela Crenshaw plays fairy number 2, Samantha Curley plays Mustard Seed, and Goldie Walton, fairy number 1. Lights, camera.
Come thy fairy song, sing me now, sleep, and let me rest. You spied its necks with double tongue, thorny hedge, hawks did not see. Newts and blind worms do no wrong. Come not near our fairy queen. La 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 la. Weaving spiders come not here. Away long like spinners hence. Beetles black approach not here. Wonder snail do no offense. La 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 la. Away now, all as well.
And our last presentation is by Taylor Morgan as Nikki Bottom and Rachel Leonard as Quince. Lights, camera.
They do it without a lion too. Roar! I will roar that it will do any man's heart good to hear me. I will roar so well that the Duke will say, let him roar again, let him roar again.
If you should do it too terribly, you would so fright the Duchess and the ladies that they would shriek, and that would have to hang us all.
That would hang us all, every mother's son. I grant you, friends, if I should frighten the ladies out of their wits, they would hang us. But I will aggravate my voice, so I will roar as gentle as a kitten.
No part for Pyramus, for Pyramus is sweet-faced, proper, and lovely. Therefore you must play Pyramus.
Well, I will undertake it with my specialty.
Vasquez, here are your parts. I request you to memorize them by tomorrow night and meet me in the palace wood by moonlight. There we will rehearse.
We will meet, and there we may rehearse most wonderfully. Take pains to be perfect. Adieu.
At the Duke's Oak we meet.
Performing Shakespeare is a process that seems to bring out the best in my students as creative thinkers, as writers, as cooperative learning actors, as literate citizens connecting themselves to the mirrors and great literature and to the rolling tides of our collective humanity. Thank you.
You can just set it on. Thank you very much. That was a terrific presentation.
That's cute. Well, good job.
Next on our list, we have declaring surplus vehicles, and Ms. Propository, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. I'm recommending the board approve or declare the surplus of 1993 bus. The mileage is 151,191 miles. This bus has become obsolete due to our state inspection last fall.
I would like to make a motion that we declare this bus as surplus.
Got a motion by Ms. White, supported by Mr. Kuderik. Do we have any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chairperson,
Go ahead, Betty.
could I say something to the Wick Elementary before they leave?
Oh.
It looks like they're all gone anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to compliment them on today. The youngsters, they need to be complimented, because the youngsters were
Excellent.
well-behaved as they walked up to the riser to take their place for their songs or their speeches, whatever it was they were doing. And I have to compliment the teachers in getting them to use their, what I call playground voices, so everybody heard very clearly what they were saying and singing. It was very well done.
Yes.
I especially like the state involving the kids too. That was very nice.
I'll make sure they get the message.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, next we have, it looks like 4 items, E, F, G, and H, are all for field trips. As you know, field trips that are either out of state or overnight require board approval, and we have some of each. The commercial baking, item E, is an overnight field trip. The middle school field trip, actually we have 2 trips to Cedar Point Middle School, and also item H, Wick Elementary, so they're out of state, and also Hale Creek Elementary wants to take a trip to the COSI Hands-On Science Museum, which is in Ohio as well. So all 3 of those require board action.
Do you want us to do
Okay,
this
we'll,
separate?
Yeah,
we'll
they have
start
to
with the
be.
commercial baking state competition.
Hey, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the overnight trip for 1 student and 1 staff member from Romulus High School to Lansing for the commercial baking state competition, April 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. Lanasi. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Madam Chair, I need to abstain from voting on this one, please.
Okay. Motion, any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next, we have the field trip for Cedar Point for the Romulus Middle School band students and leadership students.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we approve the Cedar Point trip for the Romulus Middle School band students and leadership students.
Support.
Motion by Ms. White, supported by Mr. Kuderick. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next we have the field trip to COSI and Toledo for Hale Creek Elementary School.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the field trip to COSI on May 25th for Hale Creek Elementary School.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. Frayer. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And last, we have the field trip for Cedar Point for the WIC Elementary students, the sixth grade students.
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion that we approve the Cedar Point trip for WIC students.
Support.
Motion by Ms. White, supported by Mr. Kuderick. Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to make a comment that these field trips are at no cost to the district, so everybody understands. Thank you.
That's a good
Want to
point.
be clear.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
no problem. Okay.
Okay, next on the list, we have, an award recipient. This is, again, is a very special, award. We had a lot of our teachers recognized this year. This is, received notification last, I think it was Wednesday, from Mr. Musham that one of our alternative, school teachers, Karen Powell, she's a science teacher at Alternative, and she received an award from, their national association. And she'll be receiving that award later this month, I believe. But again, it's a very nice honor. Recognition is always good, and it's great that we keep getting those awards. We have outstanding teachers here. It's just an informational piece. And then next on the list, we need to schedule meetings for the Policy Committee and the Personnel Committee. What I would like to do is have the Policy Committee meet at 5 o'clock on May 14th, if that's all right. And the Personnel Committee at 5:30 on May 28th.
Now,
Wait a minute.
May 28th, is that our Monday Labor Day? I mean, Memorial Day?
Oh, shoot.
I think it is.
You're right. And we only have one meeting in May?
So I do believe we only have one meeting scheduled for May.
May
I-
14th.
Okay. And we're gonna have to,
Can we do it the Monday before?
yeah, why don't we do that? Monday, then the 21st?
That's fine.
5:30 still? Or do you want to do it earlier?
Let's see, the Personnel Committee, we can usually get those in a little earlier, can't we? That's you and
It's you
Cheryl.
and me and Ken.
Ken.
So, you
5
tell me
o'clock,
what
fine.
time.
5's fine with me. You wanna
That's
do-
good with me. I can do
5
4:30.
o'clock?
Can you do
Okay, great.
I can do 4:30.
I can do 4:30.
4:30, better yet.
If something changes,
What
I'll
day?
call.
4:30 on the 21st
Yeah, on Mondays usually.
for the personnel, and then the
Everybody shows up
policy
for
will
work.
be the 14th at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Not me.
Everyone's all set with that?
I'll be. Can't say that about this.
Is that all?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I just didn't want to rush it. Next, we have communications and expressions from the public. And I do have papers here. And I'll go by the order that I received them. So, Mr. McLaughlin, you're first.
Good evening, everyone. First off, I'd like to add to Ms. Lanowski's comments, if I may.
Microphone.
I'm just using my phone.
First of all, I'd like to add to Ms. Lanasi's comments, if I may, the WIC children, if, Mr. Weiss, if you could extend. I was impressed that they were serving as doormen and doorwomen. out here. They were being very polite to anybody entering the building. They were very nice young ladies and men. Why I'm here today. The band boosters, as you know, have been in an aggressive fundraising mode this year. And our next project is on May 9th. You received flyers, I believe, passed out today. We're doing a jazz concert and spaghetti dinner at the high school from 6 to 8 p.m. Tickets are $5 a piece. We do happen to have some with us today for convenience sake, but my phone number is also on that flyer for you. If you need to coordinate flyers, I'll take them to your house. I'll drop them off here. I'll do whatever you need me to do. We are hoping for a sellout crowd. The jazz band kids are pretty excited about being able to perform, and in their break periods, we're going to have some of the solo and ensemble kids perform some of their music. So it looks to be a wonderful occasion, and we purposely planned it so it's at the end of the day, so people should be able to come by after work. Hint. So if you need any information, please contact us. We'd love to have you.
And that's on Wednesday, May 9th. And did you want to give out your phone number? Or?
Sure. My home number is 941-3829. And again, you know, call me anytime, voicemail me, whatever. I'll be happy to run tickets anywhere they need to be run.
What was the time on that?
6 to 8 p.m. Bless you.
You got tickets? You got tickets, right?
Oh, yeah. How many would you like? Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That's
Great.
right, good.
Next, Kim Wells.
Cheap dinner from me and
Are you getting the paper out, Carol? Be good. I'm not gonna be big today. I'm not gonna be bad. Okay, first, I believe I'm on.
No.
Nope.
Doesn't sound like it, Kim.
Okay.
There you go.
First of
Stand
all,
in
I
the
want to
box
say
now.
thank you guys very much for all the condolences, cards, and things that I received about my mother's passing. I did want to say that. Thank you very much. Second thing, you guys know that we're getting ready to go into negotiations come on Wednesday, 10 a.m. We're coming into negotiations, and when you guys received our facts that we've given to Carl today, a lot of the things that's on there, I've met with my negotiation team a couple different things. So we got a lot of stuff that we can negotiate to sort of help you with the budget cuts. That's actually what I'm here to talk about. But we got a lot of things. And with talking to the negotiation team and getting some feedback from the employees, I'm going to speak. I've got several speakers, if you notice, that's going to speak a little bit about their departments tonight. But one of the things that I'm going to speak about tonight is my custodial staff. And I sort of sound like a broken record every once in a while when I tell you that they're going home and passing out. But they have become not only custodians, but they also set up for your activities and break down your activities. And with the increased activities we received in our schools, they're actually working short-staffed, doing minimum things. And they're also your security guards and bomb sweepers, in case you guys don't know that either. Thought I'd bring that to your attention too. They are also your security guards, because there is no nighttime security in those schools. And those are basically, it's basically being done by your custodial staff. And they've gone over, like at a middle school, from having 4 custodial staff to working with 2.5 now, and they also got rid of the night leader who actually does the activities. When they deleted that, they put it on those 2.5. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that. And as a resident, I want to bring to your attention that I was reading, I know that it was suggested that you cut the custodial staff down to what the state minimum is on the custodians being able to clean the buildings, and it was suggested that you cut it down to state minimum. Well, my thing is even with the presentation tonight, we are blue ribbon schools, and I don't pay for a minimum school district. I pay for a maximum school district, and that's being said as a taxpayer, because that's not as the union president. Because I don't see why our schools would be cut down to minimum staff for custodial when I don't want my kid coming home with head lice. I don't want my kid coming home with ringworm. And it's getting to the point now where they're on emergency cleaning every single night. So if you guys don't know that, I just thought I'd inform you of that. And as a resident, like I said, I don't think with what our schools have accomplished and what we're set at, that we should be paying the taxes and things that we're paying and then being put in a minimum place when it comes to our schools being cleaned and taken care of. So, and that's all I really wanted to speak about tonight. Like I said, I was going to be good. So, okay, let me pass it on, but thank you very much.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Linda?
Might as well go ahead and leave it
Good evening. Sorry about the sunglasses, but I had a very bad golfing accident yesterday. What I'd like to talk about is the cafeteria department and the lunch program. What I've discovered is to make sure that the kids get a balanced lunch and make sure everything runs smooth, we need the security department to help us along, to make sure that the kids come through in a timely fashion. We also need the cafeteria, we also need the custodial department to make sure the cafeteria is cleaned up in a timely fashion so that as the next day when the kids come into lunch, they have a clean cafeteria to come into. So what I'm suggesting is we look into paying the security staff and the custodial staff during their time that they are actually working to help the cafeteria staff along. Like when we have, you know, our lunches, we have a security guard who stands by the door and brings the children in so they're not all piling up at once in the cafeteria. We have other security people out there to make sure that things run smoothly during the lunch program. And we also have custodians at every school that clean up after the lunch. So that's my suggestion, that maybe part of their salary while they are performing cafeteria duties can come out of the cafeteria budget instead of out of the general fund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Lynn Webb.
I'm going to read my letter to you. Board members and administrators, I would like to address the concerns of the possible reduction of Local 64 secretarial staff. For the 2006-07 budget, the following reductions were made. 1 full-time transportation department secretary, 1 part-time front office receptionist at the board office, 1 full-time athletic department secretary at the high school, and 1 reduction to part-time from the previous full-time main office secretary at the middle school. These are concerns for the 2007-2008 proposed reduction of 2 additional secretaries at the high school, and that is where my position is held. With the elimination of the athletic department secretary, the remaining secretarial staff has assumed added responsibilities due to 1 less secretary, now doing the average of 16.6% more workload. More work has been added, but no time added to complete the added duties. Also, with the co-op program being discontinued in the district, the high school lost 3 co-op positions. With the proposed reduction of 2 additional secretaries, the remaining secretarial staff would be expected to again take on more duties and adding approximately 33.2% more workload if you're averaging the distributed duties. This being said, that each Romulus High School secretary would then have a 149.8% total workload. May I remind you that it was suggested that, may I remind you that at a past board meeting, when it was suggested that the board office administration take a salary reduction to help with the financial situation, the questionable answer was, do you want us to do more work for less money? With that, please remember that with the proposed reductions, the remaining Romulus High School secretaries would be assuming additional responsibilities with no additional time and no additional salary. At what expense are we willing to sacrifice accurate enrollments, accurate attendance counts, reports and verification of 4th Friday counts, processing of free and reduced lunch forms, coordination of graduation, assistance with ACT and MEET testing, and for the state MICR immunization reporting, along with exclusion letters that's required, assisting administration to provide a safe and secure learning institution, along with the daily duties such as each secretary assisting with their respective student services, assisting and communicating with parents, staff, board office personnel, and last but not least, being a constant assistant to their own administrator. As the secretarial staff at Romulus High School, we take our positions very seriously. With the personal professionalism and dedication for our students and staff, it was exemplified on Friday, April 20th, During the time of a building security threat, our offices worked together, and the perpetrator was arrested by 9 o'clock a.m. that morning. We don't want to be in a position where pushing papers and referencing numbers and not referencing people. In all reality, our work, our students, our staff, our parents, and our administrators are a personal point for us at Romulus High School. Please remember that the casually referred to secretaries are more than that. We are a dedicated group of educational administrative professionals.
Thank you, Lynn. I don't have anything else in front of me for communications and expressions from the public. So we'll turn it back over to Mr. Weiss for items of interest from the superintendent.
Okay, well, you just heard from some members of Local 64. I do want to share with you that we did receive a letter back. You know, the board sent a communication to all of our unions, and we received a response from Local 64 and from the REA. We got those over the weekend, so I want to pass those out right now. And again, just say that, you know, we value all of our employees. This really isn't about us valuing or not valuing anybody or respecting anybody. We just don't have the money to do things the way we've done them in the past, and that's our reality. So we look forward to reading and digesting the suggestions on this list, because if we can save some money, we can add some jobs back.
Excuse me, Superintendent Weiss, could you just, for the sake of our audience, you said a letter went out to the board. Could you just speak from the board, speak to what it was referencing, the letter that went to all of the unions?
Sure.
So everybody in our audience can know.
We sent a letter out after our, I believe it was after our first meeting in March, to the presidents of all of our locals. And basically the board realizes and feels the pain and difficulty of cutting $2.5 million out of our budget for next year after we cut $3.1 million out last year. There really isn't any fat left to cut. We're cutting some meaningful things. We're trying to stay as far away from the students as possible, but each union president was invited to be a participant in this process. They were all involved before, but they were invited again before the board makes a final decision on the budget reduction plan for next year. They were invited to look within their unit and say, okay, how can we save money in our unit if we don't want to cut 5 custodial positions or 3 secretarial positions? What can we do that will bring an equivalent amount of money back in the district? And that's what, so the board wanted to, and really they've gone to great pains, but one last time, to ask for everyone to look within their organization, not to criticize other units or administrators or anything else, but to look within their organization to see where we could save the district money, so that we could still continue to offer some of the very fine programs that we've offered over the years. And here's the letter from the REA as well.
Just to reinforce what Superintendent Weiss said again, we would be looking at the comments that you provided us just in reference to your specific union and how you respond, not about anybody else. So just to be clear on that.
Okay. Next, other items of interest. You have in your packet newsletters from a number of buildings. You have a thank you from the Sylvia Thompson family, and I believe that's it.
Okay. If Mr. Weiss doesn't have anything else, then we have questions and concerns of board members. Do we have anything tonight? Any comments?
Madam Chair, maybe I just want to make one comment. Our Little League season kicked off Saturday with all the young ones out. They had a parade. It was very nice. It was a beautiful day, and we kicked off our Little League season.
we have anything else tonight? If not, we need an executive session. So we do need a motion and roll call.
I'll make the motion, we go into executive session.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Nasi, supported by Ms. Buckley. We need roll call.
Ms. Frayer?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Cooter?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. White? Yes.
Okay, I don't believe there'll be any action taken after our executive session, just for your information. We'll just be adjourning afterwards.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could you comment on why we're going into executive session,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry. I do that every time, don't I? The time I'm done in my spot here, I'll have it down pat. We're going into executive session for negotiations. A motion by Ms. Lanasi, supported by Ms. White, to come out of executive session. I need a roll call, please.
Ms. Frayer?
Yes.
Ms. Buckley?
Yes.
Mr. Cooter?
Yes.
Ms. Lanasi?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
And Ms. White? Yes.
Okay, now I need a motion to adjourn from our regular meeting, please.
A motion that we adjourn from our meeting.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Buckley, supported by Ms. Lanasi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.